New York is the most expensive city in the Western Hemisphere. I traveled to and spent 5 whole days right outside of Times Square for a total cost of $1,200. That's including flights, hotels, transportation, food, and activities. If you take flights and hotels out of the picture, I spent $300 my entire trip. Today's video will detail how I did it and what I would do differently if I did it again. Travel. You already know it, I flew Spirit Airlines. I paid a total of $139.98 for round-trip flights from Chicago to New York and back. I flew into LaGuardia because we're doing all public transit this trip, and it felt simpler to keep it all in the MTA family. The other option with Spirit would be to fly into Newark, but then you have to take a New Jersey PATH train into Manhattan, so you need a SmartLink card in addition to the Omni card you need for the MTA. Newark was also all over the news for air traffic control problems. I will not die in New Jersey. A pro tip when booking your seat: most flights into LaGuardia fly on the same path over New York. Save yourself the cost of a sightseeing helicopter tour and book a window seat on the left side flying in. My total cost for flights was $139.98. Transportation: 5 days running all over New York City cost me $24.25. A rule I made for myself that helped me stay under budget was no taxis, no Ubers. If it's not in walking distance, you can pretty much get anywhere you want to go in New York City, either on a bus or a train. In my 5 days, I covered some distance from Queens to Manhattan to Coney Island in Brooklyn. Google Maps is your friend. My final cost for transportation was $24.25. Hotel. This is probably where most people break the bank in New York. I opted to stay right off of Times Square at the Paramount Hotel on 46th Street. Now, the word hotel is generous. It's basically a hostel that only offers private rooms. Including all the taxes and fees, I paid a total of $803.84, and that was for 5 days in a single room. You could spend that entire amount on a single night at a mid-range hotel. That said, I definitely got what I paid for, which, rightfully so, was not much. Pro: the price and location cannot be beat. Cons: pretty much everything else about this place. You are getting a bed and a bathroom, and that's it. I'm gonna detail everything that went wrong while I stayed here, but I do want to be clear that I'm not upset. I knew this was not the Ritz. For the price and location alone, I would say there again, I would recommend it for those reasons, but there's some stuff we gotta talk about. The lobby is beautifully renovated. The rooms and the rest of the building are not. I had the privilege of visiting during some crazy record-breaking heat wave. We're talking 100+ degrees and humid. My AC broke down 3 times. There is an overnight repairman on site, so they were able to fix it every time. The sense I got was that this is a frequent occurrence, so at least when it happens, they're ready. The other things that weren't working while I was there were the elevators. I was on the 18th floor and I spent a lot of time waiting for the one working elevator to come to my floor. It could take like 20 minutes to get from my room to the lobby. There's no breakfast option at the hotel. The closest thing is Le Parisien Bakery, which connects to the lobby. I can't recommend it because I didn't try it, because a single serving of scrambled eggs is $19. I think that tells you everything you need to know about this place. There is a 7-Eleven on the same block, and that is my personal recommendation for budget breakfast and coffee if you're staying here. For all the negatives, I had a cheap, safe, clean room right off of Times Square with an incredible view. My total 5-day cost for hotels was $803.84. Food is another way you can quickly rack up expenses in New York. If you're looking to wait in a 4-hour line for some viral $40 cinnamon roll, you can do that here. I opted for the cheap, functional nutrition route, a la 7-Eleven protein bars, wraps, and sandwiches. I did allow myself a couple treats: a New York slice, a Coney Island dog, and a Times Square Krispy Kreme that I thought was gonna be super fresh, but was actually really stale and nasty. I also frequented the Times Square McDonald's because I like their iced coffee. Now listen, you don't have to travel to New York City to eat at McDonald's and 7-Eleven, but I was just looking for a quick, cheap, reliable sustenance on the go. If somebody was selling army rations, I would just do that. Maybe next time I'll just do cans of wet dog food. Delicious. A quick warning: if you are flying Spirit out of LaGuardia, pack some food, okay? Salado has a monopoly on the food available in this terminal. One of the cheapest options on their menu was a $21 sandwich that looked like this. to add insult to injury, the sandwich wasn't even good. Count your days, Salado. My total food expense for the week was $173.37. Activities. You can see and do a lot in New York for free or very cheap. A crazy experience you can do for $0 is to be an audience member at one of the late night shows. This is something you need to look into and book well ahead of your visit. Right now, it looks like most shows are posting tickets about 4 weeks out. You'll have to keep an eye out for it because it is a lottery system and they go fast. I got priority tickets to see The Late Show with Stephen Colbert and The Late Night with Seth Meyers. You of course can't film or take videos in the Ed Sullivan Theater or in the studios at 30 Rock, so you'll just have to take my word that it was a very cool experience. A fair warning, you do spend a lot of time waiting at these shows. It's a lot of getting in line to get in a line to get in line. But it is a really cool experience for $0, so that's kind of the trade-off. If you can make time, I would definitely recommend it. Another free thing I did was explore Central Park in its entirety. It took me 2 full days to do it, and that will be an entire video all its own. I was doing a scavenger hunt of sorts, but I'll explain that more when the video comes out, so subscribe for that. Central Park pros: iconic, quintessential New York City sightseeing, beautiful photo ops, adorable wildlife. Cons: really hot, not enough water fountains. And the north side is like surprisingly mountainous. One second you're strolling through the pastures, next thing you know you're rock climbing. I did have to go through Central Park Zoo for that video, so that actually cost me $22.95. It is a very small zoo. This is something that I otherwise would have skipped. I think I saw and did everything in about 30 minutes. And I'm of course biased because we just finished a 5-video series about the world's largest zoo, America's best zoo, 3 years in a row. I'm all zooed out. I'm good on zoo until next year. I also made a day out of taking the train out to Brooklyn, stopping at Japan Village and Industry City, and Luna Park and the boardwalk at Coney Island. My only expenses that day were food, beverage, and the train. It was like a $30 day, but that all goes into the transportation and food budgets. New York is the theater capital of the world, and cheap Broadway tickets are readily available. My recommendation for seeing shows on a budget would be to check out an app like Today Tix. This sounds like an ad, I promise it's not. You can get Broadway tickets there for like $50 to $70. I saw Oh Mary because I was told it was like the funniest show in the city. It was probably like the best 2 hours of the whole trip. Oh Mary tickets are $67 on the app. My total cost for activities was $89.95. That brings our total cost for the trip up to $1,231.39. With perfect hindsight, there are 3 things I would have loosened the purse strings on my extreme budget for. First, due to the extreme heat advisories while I was there, I would allow like 3 to 4 Uber or taxi rides. There were times when opting to walk in the sweltering heat was just really uncomfortable, and I was just punishing myself at that point. If it's the hottest hour of the day, and you've got a long walk ahead of yourself, just take the taxi. The other thing was in Central Park. I had my protein bar, apple, and water bottle for what ended up being a 14-hour day, but I ran out of water at a critical point in my journey. I couldn't find any of the free water fountains in the area, and I should have just bought the $5 bottle of water. I stood on business, I stood on principle, and I was very dehydrated as a result. The final thing I wish I had done was spend money on food before I went to LaGuardia so I didn't have to get screwed by freaking Salados. Evil. All right, thank you so much for watching, guys. I am genuinely curious to know your thoughts on how I budgeted my trip. Would you do what I did? Where would you spend more? Where would you save more? Let me know in the comments. If you have your own budget recommendations for New York City, please drop those in the comments as well. I have unfinished business with an airport cafe/restaurant, so I'll probably be back soon. And of course, make sure to like, subscribe, turn on notifications, and stay tuned. This is the first episode in what will be our New York City series. There are 4 more videos on the way. In the meantime, check out my last series about the world's largest and America's best zoo in Omaha, Nebraska. I'm really excited about these New York City videos. I hope you are too. I will see you soon. Goodbye.